It's time to take a look at the light novels that are going to entertain us and destroy our bank books in the month of May. Hello everybody, and welcome to the monthly video where I take a look at what's going to be coming out next month. In the month of May of 2019, we have 21 light novels being released, and 6 of those are either brand new series premieres or they're one-shot sort of one-off type light novels. So there's a good variety on the list this month, so we're going to get right into it. But before I do, let me just remind you, if you're new here, if it's a brand new title, I will read the blurb, the synopsis of that first volume because there's no spoilers, obviously. But for the later volumes, I don't read the blurbs until the second half of the video. That way you can avoid spoilers. If there's any blurbs you want to see, I do have a timestamp in the description down below, so you can click on that and check out that blurb and skip all the other ones that you don't want to hear. And, of course, I also have links if you want to pick up any of these books, either for Amazon or Book Depository. You can do that. Click on those links in the description down below. Helps the channel out a little bit, so I really appreciate you using them. So, starting off May 1st, the very first day of May, we have a brand new series coming out from J-Novel Club, and that is Unwanted, Undead, Volume number 1. Rent Thana, a 25-year-old adventurer, has been hacking away at monsters for a decade. However, without much talent for the job, Rent finds himself stuck hunting slimes and goblins for meager amounts of coin every day. Little does he know, all this is about to change when he comes across a seemingly undiscovered path in the labyrinth of the moon's reflection. What awaits him at the end of the path, however, is neither treasure nor riches, but a legendary dragon that wastes no time swallowing him whole. Waking up a short time later, Rent finds himself not quite dead, but not very alive either. He is nothing more than a pile of bones. Armed with nothing but his trusty sword, tool belt, and ghoulish new looks, Rent sets off on his quest as a newly reborn skeleton to achieve existential evolution, hoping to one day return to civilization with a more human form. Will Rent succeed, or will the labyrinth consume him for the rest of his undeath? This one actually sounds pretty cool. I'm going to check this one out for sure. On May 4th, we have 2 titles coming out from J-Novel Club. The first one, Volume 12 of Invaders of the Rokujouma. Of course, the ongoing harem saga, which I hear from a lot of people that it's a really good series, particularly as it continues, but I've only read the first one and now I'm so horribly far behind I probably won't get back into it. The choices we must make. However, this one I think I'm going to pick up. This is a one-shot, it's a one-off, and actually it's kind of unique for J-Novel Club because it's actually a biography. However, it is of interest to light novel / anime fans because that is From Truant to Anime Screenwriter, My Path to Anohana and the Anthem of the Heart. From the writer of Anohana, The Flower We Saw That Day, and The Anthem of the Heart comes the next expressive tale of the fight against one's own demons. Mari Okada grew up in rural Chichibu, a truant for most of her adolescent life. She observed school life from afar, often refusing to leave the confines of her room. But with the fateful encounter of a visiting school teacher, Okada found a way through the echelons of school, using her untapped skill of turning words on a page into a unique voice that truly captured the essence of youthful spirit. From her own personal desires to leave home and find a place in the world outside, Okada came face to face with her own anxiety and let her story speak out on her behalf of her struggles to truly find peace with the world around her. From Truant to Anime Screenwriter, My Path to Anohana and the Anthem of the Heart is a gripping autobiography that details the not-so-successful life of one of anime's biggest screenwriters as she faces the hardest challenge of all, finding herself through her own words. Like I said, I think this one is definitely worth picking up. I really enjoy reading biographies of creative people, but in general, I think this one really speaks to me because these are some pretty incredible works that she has done, and I very much like to hear in her own words what she has to say, and it sounds like, you know, she's led an interesting life. I'm curious about picking this one up, and if you're familiar at all, I have mentioned her before, Frog-kun. She's on Twitter and writes for Anime News Network. She actually translated this for J-Novel Club. It was sort of like a bit of a passion project, I think, for her, and apparently Sam approached her and said, hey, you know, do you want to do the whole thing and translate it and have us release it? So I think this is pretty awesome, and it's kind of cool to see J-Novel branch out a little bit. Like I said, still kind of in the niche, because I would say there's lots of fans of their products that would want to check this out, but it is cool to see them branching out a little bit and trying something new. On May 6th, from J-Novel Club, we have volume number 3 of How Not to Summon a Demon Lord. Another isekai title with a guy who's summoned to a world in the persona of his demonic RPG character. I read the first one. It wasn't too bad, actually. You know, it had its moments. I'm actually kind of curious to read at least the second one and this third one. Just read a couple more and see sort of how they are. But again, I just keep falling behind. I really need to quit my full-time job and just read light novels all day. The dream. On May 8th, from Seven Seas, we are getting volume number 1 of Toradora. Now, this one, of course, is a series that they put out the manga, but now that light novels are a thing, they have licensed the light novel. Eye of the Taiga. Takasu Ryuji might look like a thug, but he's actually a nice guy. Making friends when you've got an unintentionally scary face is tough. And don't even get him started on girlfriends. But with his secret crush in his class, the start of his second year of high school is off to a good start. Until he crosses paths with Aisaka Taiga. Beautiful, frightening, and not quite 5 feet tall. The girl known as the Palm Top Tiger is the one person in school even scarier than Ryuji himself, and he's just made the mistake of making her very, very angry. The original inspiration for the hit anime and best-selling manga. I love it. I'm so happy we're getting like a slice of life book. I've spoken how many times on this channel about how we need more slice of life type titles. We're getting one. Awesome. And it's one that's got a substantial following and, you know, is well loved. So I'm really looking forward to checking this one out when it releases. Also on May 8th, this one from Yen On, and I believe it's actually a delay from the month before, and that's going to be volume number 2 of Wolf and Parchment. New Theory, Spice and Wolf. So this is the sequel series to Spice and Wolf, which looks at the child of the main characters from the previous series and her adventures. So that is going to be coming out also on May 8th. So a little weird with Yen the last couple months. They've been delaying titles and then releasing them early instead of just pushing them all the way back to their glut that they usually do towards the end of the month. I wonder if that's some new strategy they're working on. I don't know. On May 9th, we have volume number 8 from In Another World with My Smartphone. This, of course, a J-Novel Club release, an ongoing saga of a boy and his cell phone in another world. You know, this is one of those series that I keep kicking myself saying that I want to read more of, just because it's such an easy, fun kind of title and just wears its heart on its sleeve, even though it's utterly ridiculous. But I just haven't gotten there yet. Again, quit my job, read light novels, find a way to make that, like, actually pay me enough to survive. On May 15th, this one actually coming from Seven Seas, however, it is one of their print releases of a J-Novel Club title, and that's volume number 2 of Arifureta. I've only read up to the 3rd volume. J-Novel, I think, is already, well, I think actually J-Novel is releasing a later volume this month, but Yeah, I've fallen behind. I was on top of it for at least the first three, but then, yeah, fell behind. So this one, of course, like I said, it is a print release. And interesting enough, if you follow on Twitter, the Arifureta anime that was supposed to be coming out this year, it got delayed till 2019. They just released a new key visual for it. I actually like the art style better than what I had seen from the original sort of planned release. So I think it's actually a good thing that they delayed it, but we'll see. Also on May 15th, and this one again, another print release from 7 Seas of a J-Novel Club title. This is volume number 6 of Grimgar of Fantasy and Ash. The isekai title about a group of people who awaken and have lost all their memories except the memory of their name, and are pretty much forced into surviving in this world as a bunch of hired mercenary soldiers to protect mankind against monsters, basically. I really like the first volume. Unfortunately, again, it's one of those series that I keep saying to myself, I really want to read, and I just keep reading the newer stuff that keeps coming out, and I've fallen behind. Shocking, I know. You're all very surprised. I know, I'm surprised as well. On May 16th, from J-Novel Club, volume number 2 of The Magic in This Other World is Too Far Behind. I haven't read the first volume yet. I own it. It's on my iPad waiting for me, anxiously, wondering where I am, like all the other books that I have piled on my desk. Again, I gotta win the lottery. But yes, again, it's a series about a boy who's summoned to another world and actually finds out that the magic he already has is way, way above the magic that's in this world. At least I think that's the gist of it. I'll let you know when I get around to reading the first volume, which hopefully will be soon, because I believe J-Novel Club is pumping these ones out one a month, sort of like what they're doing with Rokujouma. So it's going to get real ugly real fast if I don't get on top of that, because I'll never get caught up. On May 21st, also from J-Novel Club, volume number 6 of Infinite Dendrogram. This is the series, of course, set in a VR MMO. It is a really good series. One of the ones that, again, like I have fallen behind. I think I'm behind. This will be 2 volumes or 3 volumes. I can't remember whether I read up to volume 3 or whether I read volume 4. I'm hoping I read volume 4 because then it doesn't sound as bad, but, you know. One that I really do want to catch up with, though, because I really like that series. Certainly, I would say an example of just where you can go with that whole VR MMO thing and really explore like vast differences and, you know, taking a look really at like how much freedom there is in a game. And I really liked sort of its morality, questioning the idea of, if you're playing a game with absolutely zero limits, what kind of person are you in that game? How do you play that game? It's interesting. I really like that one. I've got to get back to it. On May 22nd, we get the drop of the majority of Yen On titles, starting off with volume number 5 of Death March to the Parallel World Rhapsody. I read the first volume of this. It didn't blow my socks off. I left it behind. I've heard from a number of people, though, that as you get a little bit further into it, the story actually gets a lot better, and it doesn't seem quite as, you know, just kind of wishy-washy as what I thought the first volume was. This one got really slagged on, though. It just had an anime, and the anime was not well received. So I don't know. It's interesting to sort of see how this series will do. I don't think the anime did it any favors, though. But I admit that I'm still curious, though, just because of the feedback I've gotten from a bunch of you, that it's not that bad. Maybe I should read a little bit more of it. But again, when I've so many series that I am so far behind on, and at least just trying to keep up even with the new releases, I'm kind of failing at that. Yeah, probably not going to happen. However, on May 22nd, there is a ongoing series coming out that I will definitely be picking up, and that is volume number 7 of Overlord. Yeah, this one's like one of my top series. I always pick it up, I always read it, I always review it. Love this series. Love the dark edge to it. It's really not like pretty much any other light novel series that we currently have in English. It's It's a really good series. Yeah, I could go on and on, but, you know, go watch my videos on my reviews. You'll get the gist. Also from Yen on May 22nd, another series that I do have the second most recent volume, so I'm hoping to have that done before this one comes out. Volume number 5 of My Youth Romantic Comedy Is Wrong As I Expected. A great slice of life series with a really fun and interesting cast. I've really enjoyed it a lot. So again, this is one that I'm going to do my best to try and get caught up on, because I definitely want to give it a read when it comes out. Also on May 22nd from Yen on, we have volume 15 of A Certain Magical Index. A series that I dropped after the first volume. And really, it has nothing to do with the series itself. It has more to do with the fact that I had just watched the anime when I started reading it, and I just had a hard time getting into it. Just because I had a hard time getting into it. That's how I am. That's why now I've sworn off of watching any anime that are based on light novels until I've either A, read the light novel, or there's been so many years gone past that there's no way they're going to license it. And in that case, yeah, I do. So yeah, but I believe this one's now beyond where the anime covered. We're now into what would be season 3, which I'm sure they announced that there's a season 3 anime officially. They announced that a little while ago, but haven't really heard anything further about it. So don't know when it's coming and don't know what volumes it'll cover. So yeah. But I mean, this is one of those series too that it's some serious commitment, man, because there's like over 20 volumes in this series, and then there's a follow-up series that continues the story that I think is up to 19 plus volumes too. So, also on May 22nd, a brand new series premiering from Yen on. This one, volume number 1 of A Sister's All You Need. Itsuki Hashima is a novelist who's hopelessly enamored with the idea of little sisters and is constantly surrounded by colorful characters. A world-class genius and love guru whose beauty almost seems a waste on her. A girl who's constantly troubled by her friendships, love interests, and can't even find refuge in her dreams. A ridiculously talented illustrator. Each of them has as many problems and worries as the next, and they never have a dull day together as they play games, travel, and work together. From the same author of the famous I Don't Have Many Friends, Yomi Hirasaka. So I'll be picking this one up and giving it a read. The anime opened with a very sort of I almost feel like it trolled based on what I have now heard about it. But yeah, it opened with little sister, and wow. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. However, I have heard that the book series itself is far more like a slice of life and, you know, people learning to basically adult and deal with being an adult in this world. So I think it may turn out to be better than the title and the initial opening moments of the anime. So we will see. We will see. I will be picking that one up, and I will read it first so I can let all of you know just what you're in for. Finally, on May 22nd from Yen on, another series, an ongoing series that I have been reading. This is volume 9 coming out in May. I have volume 8. I haven't finished it yet. And that is volume number 9 of Strike the Blood. You know what? I read volume 7 is the most recent volume that I've read. I haven't gotten to 8 yet. Volume 7 was actually really good. I was very pleased with how it changed things up. It's one of those series that I have a love-hate relationship. Well, it's not even hate, but it's one of those series that it gives some good stuff, and then there's other stuff that you're kind of like, wow, really? Are we doing this again? Yeah, it was nice, though, that in Volume 7, at least, it seemed to break that up. It was a bit of a prequel volume, and yeah, so I'm interested to see where this one goes. I am going to keep up with it for at least a little while longer, and I know you're all who watch my reviews sitting there going, yeah, Justus, you're always saying, I'll give it one more, just suck it up and read the series, which is probably what I'll do. On May 25th from J-Novel Club, yeah, I was right, volume number 6 of Arifureta. Yeah, I'm behind now, way behind. Yeah, the revenge fantasy isekai fight against the world and against the gods, and yeah. You know what? It's a really guilty pleasure type series. It's not even like really guilty pleasure. It has some guilty pleasure moments, but overall though, it's not a bad series. You know, it certainly embraces its OP main character sort of shtick very, very well. On May 27th from J-Novel Club, we have volume number 2 of Master of Ragnarok and Blesser of Einherjar. This one, I just reviewed volume 1 not too long ago. Feels like not too long ago. It wasn't bad. It's you know what, as isekais go, it had some good parts to it. There were some parts that I was kind of like, been there, done that, but there were enough differences. I kind of appreciated the fact that it was a character who was really getting by on knowledge as opposed to power. So yeah, I mean, it's got some sort of kingdom building elements to it. You know what? It's one of those series that I think I really need to read at least another volume or two to get a feel for just what the series wants to do and wants to be. On May 29th, this one coming from Vertical. It is the latest volume in the Monogatari series, and that is Kabuki Monogatari. This one actually was supposed to be out in April and then got pushed back because Zarigoto Volume 2 got pushed back into April, so they decided not to have Nishio Ishin compete with himself, which, you know, it's fine. I can wait another month. Actually, they just released the cover of this, which you can see beside me because I always put it on the screen. It's actually a really beautiful cover. You know what? I gotta give props to Vertical. They are like one of the only companies that's doing original covers for their work, and I'm really glad actually, because if you look at the Japanese Monogatari covers, the ones that have been produced for the English release are awesome. They're beautiful. And I mean, hey, they do actually include the artwork of the Japanese one as a color illustration inside, so it's not like you're really missing out on anything. Also coming out on May 29th from Vertical, this one is a one-off, but it sounds cool. It is called The Dark Maidens. It is a sort of a mystery. It reminds me, there's actually a number, if you watch there's a number of Japanese live action shows that are kind of like this. There's a number of manga that are like this, but we don't really, this I think is one of the first actual light novels that we're getting that's kind of a mystery like this particular one. In this Rashomon style mystery story, each member of a high school literature club presents her own version of the death of the group's leader. At a prestigious girls' school, a student has died. Itsumi was the most beautiful, charismatic, and popular girl at St. Mary's Academy for Girls. She was also the president of the exclusive and tight-knit literature club. 1 week after her death, the members of her beloved club gather in her memory. But as they each testify to what happened in the days leading up to the tragic event, their accusations turn shocking. Why and how did Itsumi really die? In this glittering and gripping murder mystery, everyone has their own motivations and version of the truth. In its portrayal of the alliances, treacheries, and invisible tensions between friends and frenemies, The Dark Maidens keeps readers guessing and shows that what is sweet can just as easily be poisonous. I'm actually really looking forward to this one. It sounds very cool. Again, yeah, I've seen, like I said, there's been a number of series and manga and stuff that kind of explore that whole idea, but this, I'm looking forward to checking this one out, actually. Finally, on May 31st, first off from J-Novel Club, we have volume number 6 of How a Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom. So this, of course, the kingdom building isekai series. Really liked volumes 1 and 2, and then just kind of didn't get to volume 3 because of all the other shiny new stuff. Which again, I'm disappointed because it was a really good series, and this actually now catches it up with the Japanese release. So yeah, I would definitely like to read more of this. I'll add it to my when I win the lottery and don't have to work my job anymore. Finally, on May 31st, from Cross Infinite Worlds, we have Little Princess in Fairy Forest. This is a new title for them, and I have to say, I really check out the cover. I love the cover artwork on this one. Little Princess in Fairy Forest is a breathtaking saga of a young princess, Lala, who must fight for her very existence with the last of her royal knights, Gideon Thorn. Her pursuer, the tyrannical Lord Designed Siegfried, will stop at nothing to wed Princess Lala and legitimize his reign. He's already massacred the rest of the royal family. Princess Lala and Gideon are doggedly pursued even as they flee into the Forbidden Forest, a land relegated to myth and legend because of dragons, the mortal enemies of knights. Join Lala and Gideon as they flee for their lives in an attempt to survive the traitor's deadly machinations. Gideon is willing to do anything to protect his princess, even if it means engaging the mighty dragons in combat. Yeah, I want to read this one. I love it. It has that very fairy tale. Well, I mean, it's got fairies in the title, but it really does have that fairy tale feel to it. So, I've been very remiss in checking out some of the Cross Infinite Worlds titles. I actually have the Otome Gamer one, and I'm hoping to review that in the next week. So I'm going to try and kick that habit of not reading the Cross Infinite Worlds titles, because they're getting increasingly good, and you can see, like I said, there's definite they're definitely unique and different in comparison to a lot of the other stuff we have. So, but I really do want to check this one out, because I really go for that whole fairy tale-ish vibe. I really enjoy that kind of thing. So I'll be definitely picking this one up. So those are all the brand new light novel releases coming out in May 2018. Again, if you want to pick any of these up, I do have affiliate links for Amazon and the Book Depository in the description down below if you want to pick those up. And I will now read the synopsis or blurbs for the later volumes. Again, if you want to skip spoilers, you can stop the video right here. Or if there's any particular ones you want to see but you want to skip others, I do have timestamps as well in the description. So let's get right back into it. On May 4th, we have Volume 12, Invaders of the Rokujouma. The evil magical girls finally make their move to seize the mana pool in room 106. Shizuka and the other girls will have to go all out to protect Corona House from strange new enemies, while Kotaro crosses paths with an old foe who's gotten a bit of an upgrade. The most intense battle yet, however, is the one going on inside Maki's head. Her job as Dark Navy now means making a move on Kotaro, but all she wants is to protect him. Does she uphold her mission, or does she follow her heart? May 6th, Volume 3, How Not to Summon a Demon Lord. After being summoned to another world that looks almost exactly like the MMORPG he once played, Takuma Sakamoto now spends his days going on adventures with Rem Galu, the black-furred Pantherian, and Shara L. Greenwood, the elf princess, both of whom accidentally became enslaved. To him? One day, he is suddenly approached by the fallen Edelgard with a request. Would he help her to undo the seal that keeps the demon lord Krebskulm inside Rem? Takuma, under the guise of his in-game character Diablo, hesitates, as he had previously made a promise to Rem to help her defeat Krebskulm. But he pushes through with his Demon Lord roleplay and actually agrees. I will revive the Demon Lord Krebskulm and defeat him. Now it's his Demon Lord roleplay versus an actual Demon Lord. This is the third volume of an adventure with an earth-shakingly powerful Demon Lord, or at least someone who acts like one, taking on another world. May 8th, Volume 2, Wolf and Parchment, New Theories, Spice and Wolf. The young man Cole and the daughter of the wise wolf, Miuri, survived the scripture riots in the port town of Atif. Cole spends his intense days being pined for after Miori tells him about her love. Meanwhile, Air Highland commissions them for another next job. In the coming war with the Church's forces, control over the strait between the Kingdom of Windfell and the mainland will play a crucial role. While Miori is excited for a new adventure, Cole cannot hide his unease after hearing about potential heresy among certain pirates for their faith in the Black Mother. May 9th, Volume 8, In Another World with My Smartphone. 16-year-old Mochizuka Toya continues his noble quest to delve into the Babylon ruins, but a deadly tabletop session could easily spell turmoil for the boy and his party. Meanwhile, Lin, the fairy, makes some considerations with far-reaching implications. Prepare your best dice rolls for a hair-raising tale of swords, sorcery, and forbidden knowledge. May 15th, Volume 2, print release of Arifureta. Down the Rabbit Hole. The great Orcus Labyrinth lies vanquished. Hajime and Yue return triumphant to the surface. Unfortunately, it's only the first step on a long journey back home to Earth, and there's no rest for the weary. A bunny girl named Shea Haulia appears, declaring that she has seen the future. Only Hajime can save her tribe from extinction. Hajime's no hero, but maybe he'll play the part just this once. Also May 15th, also a print release, Volume 6 of Grimgar of Fantasy and Ash. What do you mean we're turning back? The Dusk Realm has begun to attract attention as a new hunting ground. However, all is not well. There's been a rise in cultist and white giant activity, and massive new monsters have emerged. Together with Soma, the head of the Daybreakers, Haruhiro and the Tokis get caught up in large-scale military offensive against the inhabitants of the Dark Realm. Can they make it back to the Day Realm? And if the way is cut off, where will they go? May 16th, Volume 2, The Magic in This Other World is Too Far Behind. Finally striking out on his own, Suime departs the castle and heads to the capital to join up with the local branch of the Adventurers Guild. He meets a beautiful and talented young woman there who's received a strange bit of advice from the Oracle. They both join up and Suime begins his new life as a totally average mage in this world? What is he thinking? And what of Reiji, Mizuki, and Titania? How will any of them handle their first encounter with a real demon? May 21st, Volume 6, Infinite Dendrogram. College will soon begin and set a limit on Reiji Mukudori's free time. Bent on enjoying his last carefree days in Dendro to the fullest, Rei speaks to his party and makes plans to go to the beach. A nap at the inn to clear his mind leads to a rude awakening as he finds himself kidnapped by the influential cult clan, the Lunar Society, and is personally approached by their spiritual leader and the last superior of the kingdom, High Priestess Tsukuyo Fuso. May 22nd, Volume 5, Death March to the Parallel World Rhapsody. After rescuing Muno Barony from disaster, Sato and crew head for dwarf territory and rescue an oracle priestess from the demons. But for some reason, the attacks just keep coming. Volume 7 of Overlord. A group of workers whose better judgment has been clouded by hopes and expectations have descended into the unknown depths of a mysterious tomb. These trespassers include the small but elite team Foresight, the storied warriors of Heavy Masher, the crew led by a legendary elder worker Greenleaf, and the invincible swordsmen of Angel. They are some of the best that can be hired, but as more and more vengeful residents of Nazarick appear, will any make it out alive? Volume 5, My Youth Romantic Comedy is Wrong as I Expected. Hachiman's summer break is coming to a close when Yue suddenly comes to visit his house. Not only that, but Totsuka has an invitation for him as well as a request from a classmate. He even runs into Yukino's sister at the fireworks festival. Hachiman is determined not to get close to anyone or have any expectations, but even this stubborn loner can't ignore the changes occurring in his relationships with Yukino and Yui. Volume 15, A Certain Magical Index. Academy City's peacekeeping forces are absent due to the Avignon invasion. In that now lawless land, shadowy groups start moving behind the scenes. Those acting for their own interests. Those who love the dark and revel in killing. Those trying to destroy others' hope. Those standing up in defiance for those important to them. Those bringing the battle to the higher echelons. Those quelling rebellious elements. Those who would stop a rampage with violence. In this city, which controls all of science, who will survive? Volume 9, Strike the Blood. Blue Elysium is newly constructed, additional man-made island off of the demon sanctuary of Itogami. The latest, greatest resort, boasting pools and an amusement park. Yaze schemes to invite Kojo and the others to the Isle before its public opening, but somehow the free trip lands Kojo in a horrid part-time job. Meanwhile, Sayaka Kirasaka, shamanic war dancer of the Lion King agency, visits Blue Elysium as well. Her mission? To rescue the mysterious girl Yume, held captive inside a research facility. But an unknown attack mage appears before Sayaka, a priestess of the Six Blades, using the same techniques as Yukina. May 25th, Volume 6 of Arifureta. Hajime and his party are on the way to the Haltina Woods when they run into Halig's princess Liliana. What she reveals shocks Hajime. Aiko, the teacher that Hajime owes so much, has been kidnapped. Hajime decides to alter his plans and run to her rescue. However, in order to save her, he'll need to first make it up the Divine Mountain. Awaiting him there is the toughest challenge he's faced yet, a battle with God's Apostle. May 27th, Volume 2, Master of Ragnarok and Blesser of Einherjar. A storm of threats, and a hail of marriage proposals. With the defeat of the Hoof Clan's patriarch, Yngvi, Yuto Suo has sent a shockwave through the power balance of Yggdrasil. Linnea proposes marriage to him, but he cannot hide his feelings for Mitsuki, who is waiting for him back in the modern world. In the midst of this dilemma, the young patriarch of the Lightning Clan, Stornbjorn, suddenly appears during the victory celebration, leading to a touch-and-go confrontation with Yuto. As the threat of war once again looms on the horizon, the twin princesses of the Claw clan suddenly demand to become Yuto's wives as well? May 29th, Kabuki Monogatari. How far does one go to help a lost child? In the case of returning narrator Araragi, the answer is too far, across the veil of time. Dutifully, if unknowingly, following up on Hachikuji's cheeky foreshadowing, he concerns himself with his young lady friend and her fate in this installment of the cult hit series, heroically unable, once again, to find his own way home. Thus the tale is also, or more so, about the journey itself, the dark honeymoon of a trip he takes into the past with the dweller in his shadow, Shinobu. Even among a cast that routinely disrespects chronology with their meta-commentary, she takes the cake, or the donut, by rewinding the clock for a perverse road movie, one that by and large goes nowhere, spatially. It's kabuki, not as in the theater, but with the character for tilt, as in a slanted attitude toward the world, the posture of a bohemian, or perhaps of a legendary vampire who once sought death, and of a high school senior who once turned out life doting their dandy best to attend to an embarrassing wealth of aberrations in a provincial town. May 31st, Volume 6, How a Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom. Soma has received an invitation from the god-beast Mother Dragon, ruler of the Land of Dragons, the Star Dragon mountain range, to attend the contract ceremony, where contracts between knights and dragons are formed. When he arrives, Soma is guided by Mother Dragon to meet the flightless dragon Naden. Having found a special talent in Naden, who has always been taunted for her inability to fly, Soma tries to make her realize her own value, but, at the same time, Mother Dragon issues an oracle. A storm is approaching the Star Dragon mountain range. And so, Soma ends up confronting a calamity that transcends human knowledge? The revolutionary administrative fantasy series, Volume 6. So those are all the light novels releasing in May of 2018. Let me know which ones you're most excited for in the comments down below. And hey, if you've watched the entire video, thanks very much. These videos always go really long because there's a ton of light novels now getting released. I remember when it used to be like maybe 5 or 6 getting released at a time. In any case, again, thank you for hanging in there. If you're brand new to the channel and you love light novels, you should subscribe. I do this video once a month, as well as a weekly countdown of the top 10 selling titles in Japan, as well as 2 to 3 light novel reviews on a weekly basis as well. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Till then, bye-bye for now.